What's up, guys? I told you I was gonna come back again next Saturday for another for another Q&A, and I'm back. I'm still trying to figure out whether I should do this at 11 or at 10 o'clock, but I'm trying to get some consensus so that so I can build some consistency and make this a thing so that people can come every Saturday and ask me some question related to PT school. So here's what I wanted to talk about. Who's on? Come on, type your name so I can see it, so I know my audiences and whatnot, and I can gear my live stream for a couple of things. Yo, Matthew, what's going on? Matthew, I'm just gonna talk about talk about a couple of things. The kind of applicant physical therapy schools are looking for. So remember, hey, what's going on, guys? This is Janet and Dominic. Dominic, what's going on, man? See if you're commenting on my video. I like that. Thank you very much. So here we go, guys. This is what I wanted to talk about today. So what is your end goal? Your end goal, of course, is to get into physical therapy school, right? So like I was saying earlier in my last live stream, if you want to go somewhere, the first thing you have to do is ask the right questions. And one of the good questions to ask is, okay, I want to go to PT school, but who are they looking for? Like, what kind of applicant are they looking for? It's the same way where you reverse engineer. You reverse engineer everything. You reverse engineer your end goal. Your end goal is to get a physical therapy school. So eventually you need to ask, okay, who are they looking for? Can I be this applicant that the school is looking for? So this is where you start. So who is PT? Who are PT school looking for? Of course, they're looking for somebody that's gonna graduate their program. And the reason I put that first and foremost is because above all, I don't want to say above all, but it's really important you understand that physical therapy school is a business, just like college is a business. They get ranked on the number of people that graduate their program, the number of people that just how many times their applicant have to take the board exam before they can get their license. There's a lot of factor that goes into a school ranking, and every school like to get a good rank. So, and for them to actually get to that rank, it all depends on the people that are in their program. So they're going to be very, 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 very typical about the kind of people they want. So they want someone who can graduate the program. So that's why, and how will they know that when they pick you, you're going to graduate the program? It's because they're looking at your GPA. Of course, that's why the GPA is so important, guys. It's not the all in this, but trust me, the only way they're gonna know that you're an applicant that's gonna finish their program, it's by looking at your track record. And what they look for is your GPA. Whether are you someone who has been struggling to keep a C all throughout college, or are you someone who understand materials, science materials a lot better than most people and can cruise through? So yeah, this is the kind of person they're looking for. They're looking for someone who can pass their program, someone who's not gonna derail after like a B or something. They want people. They want people who can finish. So if you're a junior or a sophomore, freshman in college, you gotta, and you're thinking about going to graduate school, you're thinking about going to PT school, take care of your grade, man. Don't be like me and party like 24/7 and mess your track record along the way. Another person just got on. Just type your name there so I can know who you are and ask me some good questions so you can get this thing going. I just got up, so I'm a little slow right now. So TFTI, Matt, I don't know what is that. Lorena, how you doing? Where you from? So yeah, they want people who can graduate their program, and because they get ranked on who's gonna finish. Maryland, hey, my girlfriend wants to move there. I don't really want to, but I've been there already. I didn't like Baltimore though, for some reason. I don't know why. Baltimore was kind of very industrial, but then again, I was there for like 5 minutes, so maybe I'm judging too early. But I went on a wedding on the outskirts of Maryland, and that was beautiful. They have a lot of land, and it's close to DC, so I like that. So, yes, people are going to graduate their program. Who are they looking for again? So they're also looking for people who are resilient, people who finish what they start. So what do I mean by that? My hope is all of you guys actually get accepted into PT school, and when you get there, you're gonna realize this thing is hard. You know, you're studying every day. The materials. Listen, well, here's a good example, right? When I first started, you know, they kind of ease us up a little bit, give us, very little, like 15 pages to read for the next day. So we thought it was going to be like that throughout the whole summer. And then after, kid you not, after the first 2 weeks, they started killing us. We're talking, they want us to read like a whole chapter for the next day, and then come up with, not only read it, but they want us to be engaged in class and talk about what we read and everything else. So you cannot. How far are you in the program? I just started my second year, I think a month ago. Yeah, it's been a roller coaster. A lot of things happen. Like it's going really fast, but at the same time really slow. I don't know if that makes any sense. But yeah, it's been, especially the last few months of the first year, I think were really hard in retrospect. When I first started in the summer, I was complaining a lot about all this reading that we have to do. And once I got to January, and I realized my summer was so much easier than what I'm going now. Finished my last lab practical yesterday, almost a third. Matt, keep going, bro. Keep going. You gotta finish. You gotta finish strong. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I remember you. You just got accepted. You start in August. Oh, I was wondering what thing is the toughest material to get. Oof. For me, I think people are inclined to certain subject, right? For me, evidence-based practice is the hardest thing because there's a lot of statistic in it. There's a lot of research. I don't really like. I was a bio major. I left bio to come to PT because I didn't like research. And then I found any area that you're interested in specializing. Hold on. Let me finish the first question that they asked me. So I don't. Now I forgot the question. Yeah. So I'm not interested in specializing in anything. I think my mentor has been saying that once you graduate PT school, you know enough to make a living. You know enough to make things happen. So specializing is maybe down the line I will do it, but right now I have no plan to specialize. I plan to go on an orthopedics setting. My goal is to have my own clinic down the line. So I'm all about outpatient. I'm all about orthopedics. So if I'm going to specialize, it's gonna be ortho. Yeah. So yes. And for the person that's starting in August, same studied bio, just graduated, but want to get into PT because I wanted to be qualified for something other than. Yeah. I hate research. The thing I hate about research is just I used to work in a lab for as a work study undergrad, and I would literally spend like 8 hours in a lab and not seeing the daylight. And it gets hard when it's like April, May, June, and you're still working in a lab. You're not seeing a day of sunlight. So yeah, Matt, you know the deal. It's hard. Just pouring. I was working on what's this? Oh my God, what's it called? I was making media. I was making media. I was making broth. So I was always like this, just. Then they had me to grow some bacteria, and I had to look through a microscope every single time. So I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It was just me in a room, and I could hear people having fun outside. I'd rather be outside than in a lab. Trust me. Yeah. Yeah, but for the person, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say your name because I might butcher it. But whoever's starting in August, the best thing I recommend is I'm starting my junior year this August. What would you recommend I should do? What do you mean? What do you mean by doing, like, in terms of getting ready to apply to PT school? I mean, as a junior, I think my priority would be on my grades. Like, get your grades as high as possible. You need to focus, because junior year is the hardest year. It's the hardest year, and then senior year is a breeze. But junior and sophomore year, they're the hardest year in college. So the thing you want to do is to keep focus. Keep your focus on, because that you're gonna be tested your junior year. Your grade's gonna drop if you don't pay attention. So, and I don't know what kind of major, what major you are, what major you in, but nonetheless, it all applies, man. You need to focus. And during the summer, I recommend you get a PT tech job. Get a PT tech job. Don't volunteer. Don't just volunteer. I was saying this in my live stream last Saturday. You get a lot more perspective and a lot more benefit if you actually take a job as a PT tech than just observing. Another question, you mentioned if you took two tries to get into PT school. I've been waiting for to reply. What did you do when you did not get accepted? Oh, when I did not get accepted, do you work while you're in school? If you not, how do you survive? Okay, so first question. When I first applied to PT school, I didn't really understand the process that much. I was rushing through it because my friends were, most of my friends were, getting promotion in their field, and I was still in a job that I didn't like, per se. So I wanted to have something going for me. So then I rushed the process and I applied, and I did not get in. Got rejected by 5 schools, I think. So last thing I needed to do, like I told you, like I needed answers. I wanted to be a PT. So my favorite school, it's fortunate for me because my favorite school is like 15 minutes down the street. So I just hop on the bus and went to the school for an open house. And then I saw like 2 of my professors there, and I made sure I was the first one there to ask questions. And then towards the end, I approached them and I told them, listen, I didn't get in last year and I really want to be a PT. Can you help me? And then I somehow convinced them to see me on a one-on-one basis. And then, they give me, clues. And then I just follow those clues until I, got my result. Of course, I had to retake a bunch of classes. I think the thing that made a difference for me was getting the PT tech job. Because when I first applied, I was just volunteering. I was just getting shadowing hours and being in the clinic for like 3 hours and just observing what's going on and whatnot. But once I got the tech job, I truly realized what rehabilitation was all about. There's a whole bonding with your patient and bonding with your physical therapist. You get more inside. You get more field knowledge on what it takes to get through a treatment. You towards the end of the day, you can ask questions that you wouldn't necessarily ask as a shadower, because hey, when you're a shadower, after 2 hours you just want to get out. You spend 2 hours observing, and then after that you want to go home. But as a tech, you're treating people, so you have to be interested in the work. So you get a lot of I would say anatomy crash course, because the PT were always asking me questions. They were always keeping me on my toes by asking me about, oh, what are the rotator cuff muscle, or what does this do? What do you think I'm doing this to the patient? What do you think? So they stretch me a little bit. It forced me to look up things before a patient come, and I noticed the patient has, hey, frozen shoulder, and I didn't know what frozen shoulder was, so I was asking question, and they were giving me homework. They tell me, hey, listen, go to the website and find out what frozen shoulder is, and think of a couple treatment for frozen shoulder. And I didn't know anything about treatment for, say, you learn those in PT school, but he wanted me to have that kind of clinical thinking that will get me ready for PT school. And I think that PT tech job made the difference in the second time I applied it. And the chair of the department I was interviewing said the same thing. He said, this is what made the difference for you. You got the job, and after you get the job, your essay changed from the first year you apply. Everything about you changed, and that's what we noticed, and that's why we went with you. So yeah, so get that PT tech job and stay curious, ask questions. That's the way to do it. Even easier now with the resources. Oh my God, Matt, you have no idea. You have no idea, Matt. There's so many resources online. But here's the thing, though. That's the problem. It's good and bad. Because you get too many resources, then you get paralyzed because you don't know what to do. You got so many options available. That's why I applaud people who know they want PT very early on, so they have all the time in the world to read everything. Yeah. The second question, someone asked me how am I paying for school, or if I'm working, and how do I pay for everything? Listen, my tuition is 120 grand for the 3 years, right? I got a little scholarship. I think it's 40 grand, and that's about it. Most of my classmates, what they do is some of my classmates are from California. They from out of state. So they have to use the loan to, get not housing, because there's no housing in my school. They have to use the loan to get apartment, to get an apartment somewhere in the city, and that's really expensive. So to save money, I had to move back with my parents. It's fortunate. I don't think other people can be in my position, because I was very lucky to actually get accepted into my number one school, and a school that's like 15 minutes away from my parents' house. So naturally, what I had to do is move back to my parents. Sometimes it can be an inconvenience, because after so many years of living by yourself, moving back with your parents, and sort of like becoming a teenager again, your parents are all in your business. Like, I'm Haitian, so there's no such thing as privacy in my home. Like, I could be in my room and my mom just opens the door and go into my room and just go into my closet and just put her clothes there. So that's the kind of trade-off I get. That's what I signed up for. That's what I signed up for when I moved back home, and I'll take that any day, because I'm saving a lot of money. And there are people who actually work as well in class, but the schedule is so intense. The schedule is so packed that you're not going to be able to have a 9-to-5 job. It's impossible. Not even on the weekend. The reason I say that is because during the week, you're trying to read and study for the work for the next day, right? For the materials for the next day. And during the weekend, you're trying to catch up to what you missed during the week. So it's not, sorry if I asked this before, but I'm 28. Turned 28 in last April. So why did you ask that question? Are you some people, some of the people that I've helped, think that they're too old for PT, and they feel like they let themselves down because they thought they would have their life figured out by 25, and they still don't know what they want to do. And if you represent that kind of population, now I want you to know that it's okay, man. It's fine. Did I was I right? Was I correct in my assumption? Yeah, man, that's just how it is. It's just, it takes a while to find out what you want to do, and once you find it, um, at least once you find it, it's great because you truly know, like, okay, this is it. Once you know what you want to do, then you get rewarded with one of the thing that I think I was striving for a long time, and that is focus. I have a son, and I don't know how I'm gonna pay for everything without getting buried in that. Um, that's why I asked. Oh, okay. I'm asking myself the same question because I think my undergrad loans were about 60 grand, and now I think I'm approaching the 180 grand debt. So I try not to think about it as much. Really, I'm trying to focus on, you know, just powering through school because I have enough to be stressed about anyway. So I try to keep what stressed me because I try to keep what stressed me to a certain level, and I try not to think about student loan for now. But there are resources. If you want, I can email you a couple. Definitely try not to think about it. Yeah, Matt, it's a scary thing. It's a lot of loans. It's a lot of money. Been searching for this kind of insight in PT school. Yeah, no problem, no problem. So yeah, it's a lot of money, and it's overwhelming because the amount of your financial burden, impact your future decision, future planning. It affects your life. It affects your lifestyle, your livelihood, and there are research. If you want, I can email you I can direct you to some podcasts that talk about breaking student loan debt. So yeah, shoot me your email in the comment, and then I can direct you. Yeah. But earlier, when to the person that asked me how old I was, yeah, it's you. After you find what you want, like, you get rewarded with focus, man. You're gonna be focused on getting to that thing. And the advantage of being a little older when you're applying to PT school is that, yeah, you know what you want, so you're not gonna get distracted, and you have more room to I think your power is maturity and focus, and you can hone those and power through a school. Yeah, that's just me. And there are people who, my class is pretty diverse. You have me, who, like, right in between, and we have 22 23 year old, and then you have people who are in their late 30s. So it's a good mix. And you found out that, of course, the younger people, tend to, and focus on having fun a little bit more than, the older act in my class, who, they have kids. They don't necessarily have that kind of time to just, hang out and socialize. They have their schedule really packed, and being organized like that, helps you. I don't know if whoever graduated college, time management was a big issue, and you need that kind of skill in graduate school, because especially if you're a parent, or if you have some kind of or if you have planned to do social media stuff like I'm doing, you need a tight schedule. You need to have some sort of time management skill, because the school can be overwhelming, and it can take all your time. And it can be very challenging too. It can put your relationship in jeopardy, because your significant other might want to see you, but hey, you have like 2 exams coming up. Like me, I got 2 exams coming up, and you sometimes you have to sacrifice some weekends and be by yourself. But of course, I can't do that. I'm actually at my girlfriend's place right now, and she's a physician assistant, so I'm using her body to help me with psychomotor skills and stuff. So it works out. So you gotta make things work for you. So yeah, what kind of people physical therapy school are looking for? They're looking for people who are resilient. I was saying, the program is hard. You get tons of materials. Like, you get overloaded with materials. We're talking Like when that summer, after a month of in PT school, I thought, it was going to be a breeze, and then they started to, increase the level of difficulty of, the program, and we were getting like 100 pages to read for the next day, and I was under the impression that I had to read 100 pages, so I would be like stressing over the fact that, oh my God, there's no way I can finish this. Like, how am I going to do this? And powering through, all the reading as much as possible. So, it stretches you. It's stressful. It puts you. It makes you uncomfortable. And it makes you uncomfortable. Like I was saying earlier, it puts your relationship not in jeopardy, but it affects your relationship with your significant other, because all you're doing is studying all the time. So it's a how much studying time do you do to prepare for those exams you have coming up? Man, let me tell you. Last month I had, because my class is in modules. They do modules in my class, by the way. So it's like one module, you have a certain content materials, and then you get an exam. And then so I think right now is I just took a final yesterday, but a month before that I took a final. The content of the final was on hip, knee, ankle, orthotics, gait. So it's a lot of content. We're talking like materials that will take you at least a year and a half to study for, and they condense that shit into a month, and they want you to study everything in less than 4 weeks. So naturally you have to study. It's like you have to constantly review, man. You have to go back and constantly review, because you can't study like the last day of class, the 2 days before the final. That's when you going back to week 1, week 2, week 3 to study. Yeah, you're not gonna pass if that's how you're doing it. You always have to, every weekend, you have to take time every weekend to go over the weeks. If you're in week 3, for example, my class is in module. Each modules are like 4 weeks. After, when I'm on my second week, the weekend before my second week, I'm going back to week 1 to brush up on a couple things. And then I do the same thing for week 2 and week 3. And by the time the exam come, like a week before the exam, I'm practicing all the skills that I learned like that weekend before the last week. So that, 2 days or 3 days before the exam, I'm not like stressing. Well, I'm still stressing, but I have less things to go over. So that has been working for me so far. It's funny you ask, because I have a comprehensive final coming on Tuesday. I don't know how I'm going to study for it. So it's like the entire first year. I'm taking an exam on my whole first year. Like, there's so much stuff that I don't remember, guys. Like, it's not even funny. As I'm doing it after this live stream, I'm going to start studying, and I don't even have an outline. There's just so much there. Have you ever failed a class? I know nursing school lets you. I've never failed a class. No. The reason I say that is because, I was saying earlier, I'm 28. I know what I want. I'm very focused. So I know when I got accepted, I have to take the PEAT before and now. What's PEAT? I don't know what that is. What is that, Matt? So yeah, I was saying, what happened if you do? So I think if you fail a practical, I think you get a chance to retake it. Oh, practice exam like NPTE. So if you fail a practical, you get a chance to retake it. But a final exam, I think once you fail, you fail. But it's the way my curriculum is set up, right? It's set up in a way where a semester has like 3 or 4 modules. If you fail a module, it's okay. just have to do better in the next module. Each modules are like a month. So 1 month you get to go over, for example, in 1 month I went over lumbar. The next month I went over hip. The next month I went over ankle and knee. So if you didn't pass lumbar, then you got to make sure you pass hip and knee and ankle. And they compile all those grades together, and then to give you your final grade that semester. So if you don't do well, if you don't do well in one, it's okay. You just got to make sure that you pass the next module. But I don't know how things work in other school. So my best advice is to try not to fail at all. And if you're gonna know this when you get into graduate school, you're gonna know this, that there's no, you have no room to fail, man. You know, they don't want you to fail either, because if they invested in you, they accepted you, they're gonna do everything in their power for you not to fail. So that's what I like about graduate school, because the school get ranked based on how students do in their program, and they're gonna do everything in their power to support you. Yeah, PT school is not like, hey, what's going on? PT school is not like it's not sorry guys, it's not like other programs where you turn this around. Yeah, it's not like other program where you just people, like I've noticed some people are telling me that in some program, like they were out to get you, like they don't want you to pass. You're not gonna get that feeling in physical therapy school. I'm Haitian too. Tell me if I'm lying, but your parents apply some type of pressure for you to become a lawyer. Of course. Of course, man. Of course. My the original goal, my parents told me, they put this in my head about becoming, because as a Haitian person, that there's only 3 professions that you can be. It's lawyer, engineer, a doctor, and my parents wanted me to become a doctor since a young age. So I grew up with that kind of thinking. Like I thought I was going to become a doctor. So every step that I took as a kid, it was for the path of medicine. But in college, I realized I wasn't cut out for it, and it was a harsh reality. But hey, that's part of growing up. That's part of maturity. And it's a wonderful feeling when you find that, the things that, once you find the thing you want to do, it's a wonderful feeling. And honestly, studying is more focused on the topics than allocating time. It's easier to fill it out with doing over. Yeah, that's the thing about studying too. It's not like undergrad, where you're just studying and then you go for a test. No, you're studying something, and then you're doing psychomotor skill, you're doing hands-on skill on the things you learn. So it reinforces everything that you're learning. Even though you forget it, but you might get a case, and in the case they tell you, oh, patient is a 34-year-old with this and that, has this and that, and everything starts coming back like, oh, okay, I know what to do, I know what tests to do, I know what kind of questions to ask them, I know what the pathology is, I know the treatment, everything comes back. So it's the learning is very integrated. So you're not going to study. Of course, there are a couple of things that you're going to study and you're wondering like why in the world that you're studying it, but yeah, it reinforced everything. Because not only that you're learning it in class, the next day you go in the lab and trying to apply what you just studied. Sorry to keep. No, it's okay. That's why I'm doing the live stream, so people could ask me questions. But you said how and where did you find them? So there's a website called what's it called? I think it's Web Scholarship. And I went on there, but I didn't get a scholarship through Web Scholarship though. But it gives you options to get scholarship. I think it's a scholarship website where every day they post a new scholarship. You go there and you try to apply for one. But the thing about it is just so many people apply so many people on this website and applying for scholarship. It's very hard because you're competing against a lot of people. I think I'm blessed, and I was luckily for me, God blessed me, and the school offered me a scholarship. I don't know why. Maybe they just saw I was broke and they just give me some money. I didn't apply for scholarship. I was just rewarded like 30 grand. And then like 6 months later, they added 10 grand to it. Never applied to it. Never applied for one. They just handed me one. And hey, if you guys giving me free money, I'll take it. I'll take it in a heartbeat. But yeah. So yeah, man, don't let your parent pressure you into trying to become something you're not. You can't live your life for somebody. It's not good. Because otherwise, when you're gonna realize you're 25 years old and then you realize, oh shoot, that's not what I want to do. You're gonna waste a lot of, well, you're not, it's part of development, it's part of maturity, but you know, if you go out there and get some life experience, explore, travel, go volunteer into settings that that interest you, then you might find the answer you want a lot quicker. There's a lot of time, this is what happened, this is why I know this, a lot of time people think you go to school, and then after you go to school, you go to college, you get a degree, and that's it. But going into work now. But thank you so much. Oh, no problem. Let me know. I might do another one next week or the week before, but I'm trying to get some consensus on for people and when I should do the live stream, and if it's something that will interest people. Every Saturday I can come in and answer your questions. So if it's something that you find value in, let me know and we can get this going every Saturday. But thank you and have a good day. All right. Next thing that I wanted to talk about, the kind of PT student, kind of PT students they're looking for. They're looking for people who are resilient. Because I was saying before, there's a lot of materials. It's hard. The school will stretch you, will challenge your relationship, will challenge you who you are at your core. It will challenge your patient and your patience. So you really need to be a resilient person, a person who finish what they start, and that's the kind of people they're looking for in PT school. Because believe it or not, you're gonna get challenged, and that also get translated into how you take care of patients. Are you someone who, if a patient's having a hard time, are you someone who's gonna stick by this patient till they go through their rehabilitation process? Are you someone who focus on the whole rehabilitation process? Are you patient enough? Are you patient enough to help people? Can you persevere with people through the hard time? Those are the qualities that PT schools are looking for, and if you can have them, if you have them and you can showcase them well in your essay, in your interview, man, yeah, you in. And I had it written down here. They're also looking for people who have a bunch of life experience. Because what happened is some schools value that kind of stuff because they don't want to have just 22. They don't want to have just young people in their classes. They want, an older act who have reached a certain level of maturity, who have a bunch of life experience, who can bring perspective into the classroom. Inpatient and outpatient cardio neuropharmacology, modalities, anatomy. Is that what you're reviewing right now for the PAT? Matt, and you have a lot on your plate, Matt. So yeah, those are the kind of people they're looking for. Those kind of people to balance the classroom, everything. Yep, that's me. It's gonna be me in a couple hours, studying for everything, so I can, before I go on my first clinical, on my first internship. Yeah, those are the kind of people the schools are looking for. They're looking for people who are gonna bring perspective in the classroom. They could talk about. Here's an example, right? They could be talking about a topic in class, and people have ideas on other things. They have theories on other things. Like, if I was this, if I was in this position, I'll do this, I'll do that. And then an older act who has been in the field for who has been out there for a while, like know certain things doesn't work in real life the same way they're talking about it in class, and they bring it in, and they can bring that perspective into the classroom and tell you, okay, this is not going to work because this worked this way and this worked a certain way. But you get my point. They bring perspective in the classroom, and you need that kind of perspective. And if you have that kind of maturity, that kind of life experience, showcase them in your essay, in your interview, and you do well. Good luck, Matt. I'll keep you in my prayers. Yeah, Matt. Lorena said she'll keep you in your prayers. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Yeah. So yeah, those are the kind of people they're looking for. And here's another thing I wanted to talk about before I get out here, if people don't have any more questions. When you get into PT school, it's not over. They keep screening you because they're gonna want to know whether they made the right decision by picking you, right? And they won't know if they made the right decision by picking you like during the first week. No, they're gonna ask everyone like to keep a lookout for people who are not showing interest, or people who are losing interest, people having a hard time getting through the materials. So when I went on my, I think, second clinical rotation, I was talking to my head CI, and my head CI said, yeah, man, the screening is still happening. They keep asking me to look for people who kind of look uninterested, because this is what happens. Sometimes you think you want PT, right? You convince physical therapy school is right for you, and then you go into a hospital, you see blood, you see patient on a wheelchair, and it makes you uncomfortable. Some people have passed out in their first clinical. It's a revelation, and that's why sometimes people drop out of the program, because either they're not cut out for the materials, or they can't keep up with everything, or they found out they don't like working. They don't like working in the hospital. They don't like working with patient. It's the screening goes on like all the way to the first year. That's why, man. That's what I mean. Like if you have the focus, if you do not have the focus, you're messing around. Like PT school is gonna kick you in the face, and that's why you need that kind of maturity. You need to stay focused throughout school, and get your things in order, because they're gonna screen you. They're gonna know who's behind, who's not interested, because the screening process just keep going, because hey, their school ranking is on the line, man, and it depends on you. And that's why too they're much more invested into helping you, because your success is their success. Have you ever seen an autopsy? PT told me you had. Yeah, I mean, it's not autopsy, but we go to Harvard. We go to Harvard Medical School campus, and then we observe the cadavers. Like when we're studying anatomy, we have a cadaver lab. When you're studying the anatomy, we go into Harvard Med, and we just go through the muscle that we're studying. I think we started cadaver lab in January, and it actually just ended like last week. I'm talking like people who donated their body, and you seeing the whole muscle, you seeing the whole leg, and they have you touch it, like the origin of the muscle, the insertion. Like it gives you a much more appreciation for the human body. And some people can't take it, because there's a lot of the formaldehyde is actually very strong, and some people can't take it, and some people actually don't learn well. Sorry, but you said you took like a 60. Is it already? Yeah, man, that's my undergrad loan was, I think, 60, and PT school, my school is actually super expensive. That's the thing too. It's super expensive, and that's the only school I got in, so I didn't have any other choice to go anywhere else. So I had to take what I got, and it was my favorite school too. So it's a trade-off. That's why I recommend to people, if you know what you're getting yourself into, because school is super expensive, and if someone was half-assed about the physical therapy, if you don't have love for the profession, don't bother, because the salary you get comparing to the loan, it doesn't balance out. It doesn't balance out for sure. It doesn't. So you have to have a strong passion for physical therapy to get into physical therapy school. Yeah. And of course, I'm more business oriented, and that's why I'm out there doing social media, doing this kind of stuff, like finding mentor to help me, people that have been successful in the field. I'm getting mentorship from them so that I can be in the same position as them a couple years later. So, my goal, I don't plan to work a 9 to 5 all my life. I plan to have my own business. So I just want to use physical therapy as a platform to get to, the end goal. The end goal. So yeah, it's how it is. Yeah. But yeah, the cadaver lab. Yeah, it gives you much more appreciation for the human body. Some people, of course, don't learn well because they get freaked out by the cadaver, or they just, they don't learn well because they don't want to touch. At what age you say this is physical? Sam, I think it was around. That was my junior year of college. No, my end of sophomore year of college when I realized med school wasn't for me, because I was trying to study for MCAT, right? I went to the library, opened the MCAT book, and I saw the first page and I closed the book right back and then put it back on the shelf and went to my dorm room. That's when I realized that med school wasn't for me. So then I spent a year being lost, like struggling to keep my grades up and then struggling to find out, hey, what am I going to do? And then I went to the advisor, the person that was advising pre-med student to go to PT school. I was advising pre-med student, and I told him, hey, I realized I don't think I'm cut out for med school. I don't know what else to do. I'm kind of lost. And he gave me this list. It's called Alternative Career to Medicine, the losers list, basically. And he said, pick one, just like that. He didn't even tell me, go observe, go get some life experience, man. Find out what interests you. Go observe certain field and get a feel for what's going on there. He didn't tell me any of that. He just give me a list. I'm like, damn, man, that's how you're gonna. Okay. So I took the list. That was nurse practitioner who made the most money out of that list, out of that alternative career to medicine list. There was nurse practitioner, occupational therapy. I think podiatry was in it, and then physical therapy. And I'm an athlete. Well, I want to think I am. So I'm always moving. I was very athletic in Haiti. I play soccer. So physical therapy kind of like makes sense to me and attracted me. So I went and observed that field first. I had planned to observe physical therapy, podiatry, and NP. I decided to observe NP first. PT first. And then I liked the setting. I liked how people were laid back at the job. They were having fun with their patient. It felt like people were coming in and just hanging out instead of getting treated. It didn't give me the hospital feel. I don't like hospitals. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is good. Yeah. And then, but it wasn't until like years later, I think 2 years later, I started working at Perkins School for the Blind, and I was working with one kid. Did you have to be athletic? No, you don't have to be athletic, because I'll get to that. I'll get to that a little bit. So yeah, and then I found out, movement helped this kid. This kid was always on a wheelchair. Well, it wasn't a stroller, always like experiencing the world through a stroller, right? And then after they started the old occupational therapy and physical therapy protocol on him for I think that took years to get this kid to where he is now. But now you see how the kid is much happier because he's running to class. He used to be like 5 years ago, this kid used to get pushed to go to class. Now he's running to class. He's in the cheerleading squad. He's doing this, he's doing that. So, his whole life changed because now he's not only he's seeing the world through movement and not just through a stroller, just through a chair. So that was the revelation for me. It was beautiful, it was simple, but I just saw like what kind of impact PT could have on someone's life. And then I was like, okay, that's it there. This is it. And then I find my focus, and then I just spend the last 1.5 years just getting ready to apply again. I had already applied the first time, but it was a half-ass application. I wasn't truly sure. Like, I was sure, but I wasn't truly convinced. But after I, started working with this kid and getting to know him a lot better, Like, that was it. But yeah, Fonzie, you asked me, shoot, what was the question? Oh my God, my memory. Yeah, you don't have to be an athlete. You do not have to be an athlete. Most people, like, for the physical therapy field attract a lot of athletes because it's movement based. You know, you treating people to movement. You're a movement expert. You analyze movement, and it's fun because you can watch a soccer game, you can watch a football game, and seeing how people are moving, how people. It's movement analysis, and that's what we like. We are expert in movement analysis in the field, and it attracts athletes because, you know, when you're an athlete, you're moving. But you don't have to, because there's many different settings. There are people who are interested in research. Here's another thing that physical therapy school want from an applicant. They want an applicant that have research experience, because research move the field to the next level. So they want people who are research inclined, who appreciate research, who are going to treat with evidence-based practice. So those are the kind of people they're looking for. If you like research, you know, you're a good applicant too. If you want to work with old people, that's fine too. If you want to work with athletes, that is fine. I think I want to work with athletes and, you know, the average person as well. I don't want to work with just athletes. But yeah, if you like kids, if you like peds, if you go into pediatric setting, you can work with kids. You can work with kids that have, you know, cerebral palsy, kids who had stroke, you know, spinal cord injury. Yeah, it's PT school. I mean, I'm not PT school. The physical therapy field is very vast. There's a lot of things you can do. It's kind of like medicine, right? You can be a dermatologist, you can be, you know, a surgeon, you can do this, you can do that. It's the same thing as PT. There's a lot of things. You can focus on neurology and work with, you know, patient who had stroke, patient who had a spinal cord injury. You can work with kids. You can work with grown-ass people. You can work with old people. You can work with athletes. So it varies across the board, and you have a lot of options. Yeah. I just so happen to, you know, like, you know, sports, and the field attracted me to it. But, you know, you find out when you get into PT school that, you know, a lot of people wants to do, not everyone wants to work with athletes. Some people want to work with other people. Yeah. So I don't know if people have other questions. I think I'm pushing an hour right now. It's funny because I had planned to be there for 30 minutes, but, you know, you guys kept me going. Thank you very much for the questions. I'm still getting used to doing live streaming. It's not something that's easy. It's like to talk to you guys through the camera. It still feels a little bit weird, but hey, you know, the more I do it, the more I'll get better. All right, if anyone had one more question, and then I'll let you enjoy. Hey, Sam, no problem, man. Just let me know if you want to do this every Saturday. I can come up. You can ask me some other questions. It's nice to see another Haitian trying to be in the field. Fonzie too. I know you're Haitian too. You're from Florida. Yeah, I got a couple. I got a lot of families in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. If you don't have any other questions, I guess I'll see you next Saturday, and then you guys can give me some topics to talk about next Saturday. Just put it in the comment section so I can get through them and whatnot. A couple people have asked me to bring some of my classmates, and then to talk about, you know, their experience in class. But unfortunately, I'm still next Saturday, same time, and I'm trying to make this a thing. So a couple people want me to bring my classmate and do the live stream with them, but here's the thing, right? I got comfortable on camera, but other people are not really comfortable on camera. So yeah, it's a hard dynamic. So, but nonetheless, I'm trying to make this happen this summer to have other people, other minorities. I think there are about 4 to 5, you know, black person in my class. So if I could get all of them into one camera, in front of one camera, that would be nice. But yeah. So if there are no other questions, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning, and enjoy your Saturday. God bless. Bye.